Is GDP per capita the best reflection of the strength of an economy? The average income in the United States should be around $66,000, but instead the reality is that the average wage in the United States in 2018 was only $48,000. This is a result of GDP per capita not taking into account inequality within a nation. In a capitalist society, income inequality is expected, but in the United States it has risen to a record high, not seen since the 1920s. This means that the top 1% of Americans' average income nationwide is $1.32 million. The bottom 99%, on the other hand, earn an average of $50,000 a year. This rising income inequality does not spell a good future for the economy, as the last time inequality was this high, the US experienced the worst recession ever. Workers must also work longer hours than they previously did in order to earn the average income. According to the Center for American Progress, in 1960 only 20% of American mothers worked. Today, 70% of American children live in households where all adults are employed. The US Department of Labor Statistics supports this, and notes that 75% of those mothers are working full-time. Thus, these families have less time to spend with their children, and are forced to make concessions into how much time they devote to helping their children with school and extracurricular activities, damaging their children's and the future generations' education and skills growth. If GDP per capita was the best measure of a country's well-being, the United States would be a much better place to live than the countries it outranks in GDP per capita, such as Finland and Denmark. However, Finland and Denmark were regarded as the happiest countries in the world in 2019, according to the World Happiness Report, with the United States trailing far behind as 19th. Some may look at this and say that happiness is a subjective ranking. However, the US has experienced a presidential election of an outsider preaching about how the American economy is falling apart and in need of radical change.
The world is a mess.
And a popular opponent on the opposite side of the political spectrum is preaching a similar method, albeit one with a radically different plan on how to fix this problem of the American economy.
The model of the Democratic Party is failing.
If we were to look at the United States GDP per capita during the 2010s, we would see an increase. Thus, an increase in the well-being of US citizens would be expected. However, a startling new trend has occurred during the last decade in one of the most important metrics in determining a society's well-being, the average life expectancy. Instead of seeing an improvement in the average life expectancy of Americans, the life expectancy stopped going up, and in 2014 it has been on the decline. This is a disturbing trend, as the US is the only wealthy nation to have its life expectancy trend downward. Thus, the well-being in the United States is not following the trend of its GDP per capita. So, thank you guys so much for the 200 subs. I really appreciate that. I was going to do this big event, but with recent events, that's not really possible anymore. But thank you guys so much for watching anyway. This was actually an essay I had to do for college. Just abbreviated it and made it into a video format. Hope you guys like that. If you want me to do more economics related videos in the future, just let me know down in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And catch you guys later.